Oh, yes, it is that time once again. It's Wednesday. It's noon Eastern time, which of course means, as it always does, it's time for the High Noon Hemp Show. Of course, you can find us many places live and on demand video on Facebook. It's the Temptations Beach Facebook page. On YouTube, it's the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel. And on Twitter, it is the Temptations Twitter account. All that stuff. Of course, podcast, Podbean, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Just search the High Noon Hemp Show. I am Stoner Jesus. He is Beach. He is high above the Sharonville, Ohio location of Hemptations and at the hemp quarters. How are things this week in the world of Hemptations, Beach?
Quite chill, actually quite hot, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty miserable outside. That is for sure. A lot of stuff going on in the hemp world. We know this. Welcome, everyone, to the High Noon Hemp Show. It is high noon. It's Wednesday. I am Beach, and I am high above the Sharonville locations. Planet Everywhere Studios, back again. We've missed some Wednesdays recently, but we are here. Stuff going on. Stuff going on. I still don't know if the light on or the light off is better. I feel like I have less of a glow.
Yeah, probably
The
off.
light off.
Slightly better.
You can see me a little better. Like I need that.
Right. It's the important thing.
Ironically, I have a light bulb on my hat. So maybe that'll light me up later. Remember, folks, the FDA has not evaluated this show for efficacy or safety, just so you know. And of course, we all know that the FDA is still dragging their feet. I don't know what's going to happen with them. So we'll see. But let's jump right into the, excuse me, man, all of a sudden I got some hemp in my throat. Let's jump right into the product spotlight. 4 from the store, 1 from my door here on the High Noon Hemp Show. The first one here is, still very, very popular. This is the Delta 8 flower. And so basically what you get is, it's CBD flower, and then they put the Delta 8 on it. Or the Moon Rocks. And it was funny because, I said this and then I paused the other day in the store when I was talking to a customer. I said, well, that's hash. And then I thought, oh my God, is that legal? Well, of course it's legal. It's legal hash, basically. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so, if it's made from CBD, it is 100% legal federally, unless your state has done something. And there are states that are doing things against D8. So pay attention in your state. You may have to be 21. They may be trying to make it illegal. It's hard to say. I do have more on that on a relatively close state trying to pull some shenanigans, I believe. So get your, you can, very popular D8 flower. We also have a 3.5 gram, so if you want to buy a smaller package to see if you like it or not. Yeah, it's good stuff. Customers really still enjoying it, honestly. The second one here is one I should have had on 2 weeks ago when we were doing the 4th of July episode. These are the CBD dog treats. Again, for small breed or large breed, depending on what you have. We usually switch back and forth between these or the Wilfreds. And every once in a while even do the Montana. But these are local. I call them local, very low, pretty local. Just right down in Kentucky. Could very well be, and I shouldn't say that, but because there's plenty of places that manufacture CBD, but very well could be the same CBD that we put in our products. So it's hard to say. A lot of CBD is still getting grown in Kentucky, although I recently saw how much the numbers dropped from, say, like 219 to 221. But that's the way the numbers are everywhere with CBD. It hit its peak, and now it's just balanced out. But these are the Homestead dog treats. If you have a dog that's either anxious or maybe needs some pain relief, this is what our humans use it for, things like that. So, summertime is here, so maybe you need some CBD deodorant. How about some Washita Farms CBD deodorant? And so if you're looking for that, I don't know how much the CBD benefits. Part of me says that, because I have an issue with a lot of the unnatural over-the-counter deodorants and antiperspirants because of their ingredients and the things that I think are very bad for them. Because that goes right in, you put that on, and you are meant to sweat. We are meant to sweat, so we shouldn't block that. That's what I don't like about antiperspirants. Never put something on that's going to seal your skin from sweating, like a petroleum-based lotion, or if it's called antiperspirant, then that's what it does. So it has stuff in it that's probably not the best. But that CBD then might work its way into the system through the armpits and may be beneficial, just like it does when it works its way in through the skin for any issues you may have. Now that's more again on the pain relief side of why our customers use CBD topicals. But again, I am not a doctor, and all the correlations, they are just correlations until there is causation between deodorant or antiperspirant and, say, breast cancer or thyroid issues or who knows what. Anyway, and so there you have it. Little Washita Farms CBD deodorant if you need that for the summer. We recommend it. And then the last but not least, so they did come over. I guess I probably sent more pictures over than I thought because I didn't think these made it over for some reason. So we do the coffee filters. Again, reusable coffee filters. I use one of these. I have been literally using the same coffee filter for probably 10 years, very easily, at least. And so, if you drink a lot of coffee and you can, instead of buying paper filters, get yourself a reusable filter and use it forever because we like that. Just like shopping bags. All shopping bags should be replaced with reusable. All coffee filters should be replaced with reusable coffee filters. It's just the way the world should be. All right, so we'll skip over the other pictures of products that I might have accidentally sent. Well, we can show it. How about 5? We'll do a 5er.
That's right.
Today. It's a special day. We're going to do 5 products on the spotlight just to make, because that's what we can do here. You've seen one of these every show just about. I don't know. I'm not sure if I've ever not shown a Green Springs Technology pen because that's usually part of the What Are You Wearing Beach segment of the show, soon to come up. But these are the selection of Green Springs Technologies pens that we have in the store. Now you can see now the top ones are a darker. Okay, those are injection molded. Okay, and then the lighter one down below that, the lighter brown, that's actually 3D printed. So that just is a great example of that's right now that's the 2 ways. And again, injection molded is the most popular way to make plastic products. I do believe 3D printing is really making a fast increase, I suppose, as to how plastic is made. Of course, this is hemp composite. And so this just shows how we can replace that petroleum-based plastic, regardless of whether it's 3D printed or injection molded, with hemp composite, which is part of the goal. 60 to 70%. Okay, not all. There are, some that petroleum-based plastic world can still exist, just a little bit smaller. Instead of having 100% of the business, maybe they can just settle for 30 and help the planet out a little bit. But anyway, Green Springs Technologies pens, you can get an engraved. You can't engrave the 3D printed one, so if you don't want the Hemptations on there, you can get yourself a 3D printed one. If you like the Hemptations and the leaf on there, then you can get one of those. So there it is. 5, not 4, from the store. And the one from my door, we all know how much I like to drink my coffee out of my hemp coffee cup. But I just recently found this. This is oat creamer. I'm not a big creamer fan, but I've been, I kind of liked it. The creamer. I never used milk creamer on a regular basis. So I just want to be clear. But I thought, if I'm going to use a creamer, maybe I'll check some stuff out. And originally, I think that they had, and I haven't looked to see, and I don't know why I picked this one, but they had like a caramel flavored creamer, which I really like. It's my favorite I was looking for. This is just basically non-flavored creamer, as you would say, oat based, not dairy, which is what I like. And then of course the second ingredient by weight is hemp cream. Which is I love the way it's pretty basic there, just like the oat milk is just water and whole grain oats. Hemp cream is just water and hemp seeds, which is basically again the exact same way you would make hemp milk for the same recipe. Basically, I would guess with your cream, what you're doing is adding more hulled seed just to make it a little bit thicker. That's the difference between cream and milk, in my opinion. And so really you can work that ratio out, as to whether you want to make it hemp milk, add a little more water, make it hemp cream, add a little bit more hulled seed. And so, and there are, if you want to look up your ratios, there are recipes online. And again, it's just a matter of, what the most common, how much water to how much hemp seed. And then, of course, you can sweeten that if you'd like, to make it a sweet cream or milk, vanilla. Some people add vanilla to their milk, whatever. And we are allowed to say, we are allowed to call it milk, but soon, I believe if you're going to call it, say, hemp milk on the label, you may have to actually compare it to the nutritional facts of dairy milk, which I think is weird because, again, people don't drink hemp milk to substitute the nutritional value of dairy milk. We drink hemp milk or oat milk or coconut milk because we don't want to drink cow milk. Baby cows don't drink, or adult cows don't drink cow milk. Why would adult humans? And it's science is proving, medical science is proving that it is really not that great for the body. All those correlations that they made with calcium and cow milk and all that stuff, really not true. And so that's and so it's kind of funny that we have to compare the nutritional value of, say, hemp milk to dairy milk. If we're going to call it hemp milk, I just read somewhere that's what the FDA is going to start requiring, or somebody, I don't know, the milk industry, I guess, to put the nutritional values beside each other. And again, that's just really not necessary, because I would almost guess that just about no one that drinks hemp milk drinks it because they think it has the same nutritional value as dairy milk. They drink it because they like dairy milk. Maybe they like the taste of dairy milk, or they like cereal with milk, or whatever it may be, but they don't want the dairy because our bodies do not digest it right. It's blah, 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 blah. It is what it is. So yeah, I found these. I'm pretty sure I had these shipped to me from Amazon. Actually, is where I found this. It's Elmhurst, I believe. I can't believe I didn't show the product name, but above there, I'm pretty sure the name of this creamer company is Elmhurst. So, when I shop for hemp foods, or any kind of food online or on Amazon, I always go. There's always a picture of the ingredients, so I always go and look at the ingredients. Whether it's healthy snacks or whatever it is it may be. I really should be getting that stuff at the grocery store, and I normally do. Now I'm going to have to go to the grocery store and check out the Elmhurst, if they have it at my grocery store, and see if they're actually hemp in that or not. So that's how you do it sometimes. Check the labels, check the ingredients, get yourself some hemp. All right, there you have it. 5 from the store, 1 from my door on the product spotlight here on the High Noon Hemp Show. Now,
big day with the 5 products. I know a lot of you are saying, hey, all that's great, It's all wonderful. But I'm here for the fashion. And that's fine. If the fashion has brought you to the hemp, the information, the entertainment, all that stuff, it's all good. Because at this point, Beach is a fashion icon. I think I don't use that word lightly. Icon. Use it very sparingly. You can go back through all the episodes, see how many times I've used the word. But Beach is a hemp fashion icon. And we solidify that fact every single week. And I simply ask Beach one question. I say, what are you wearing, Beach?
It's true. If you're wondering, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you'll know. I mean, I will have to say that I have modeled 200 plus hemp outfits.
That's right.
So I don't know what category that puts me in, folks, but I will have to say that as far as a hemp model, I'm not saying, and I use the word model loosely, but as a hemp model, I don't know if there's anybody else out there that's got 200 outfits, different outfits
I haven't
that they
seen
have been shown in anywhere. So,
right.
you know, more records to be broken, folks. Let's start on top there. Been doing a lot of old classic head case. So that's basically what I built this outfit around, was this old classic head case hat, the fish in the light bulb. They had some really just, I don't know if I ever got an explanation as to why they put a fish in a light bulb on a hat. They had an upside down cow hat that they was printed wrong, and it became one of the most popular hats that we sold. Was this? And I don't even have an upside down cow hat
Oh,
from Headcase. That's how popular they were. But anyway, this is the old fish in the light bulb. Fish in the light bulb. That's what it is. The fish in the light bulb. I don't know if I feel like that. I'm just swimming around thinking of stuff all the time. I guess I'm a fish in the light bulb. The shirt, again, classic Monastache polo. I guess I'm gonna call this the summer of the polos on the High Noon Hemp Show, because we're really breaking out the polo shirts, and I've got quite a bit of different polo style hemp shirts. Most of them were middle of the 90s, coming from the polo styles of the 80s, I would say, even though it was over. But it was a semi-popular style, and still is. Obviously, people wear polo shirts all the time. My shorts are Dash Hemp, classic pair of Dash Hemp. I shouldn't say classic. These are semi-newer, actually, I think, to me, as far as jean shorts. I don't know that I have any other hemp jean shorts in my collection. So thank you, Dash Hemp, which does exist, and you can go buy their products online to this day. I don't know if they're still making jean shorts or not, but go check out Dash Hemp where you can. Their shirts used to say Hemp Rocks on them. It was pretty cool. In my pocket there, you can see my Green Springs Technology pen. Goes with me everywhere. When I need it, it's in my pocket. My briefs are the Hemptopia, which I have quite a bit of pair of the Hemptopia briefs. I really like them. They've held up well, wear well, fit me like I want them to. My socks over there, my no-shows, you can barely see, but are somewhat of a pinkish maroon tint. Those are Oasis no-shows. I think I found those on Amazon as well. I don't know that they're still available, actually, as far as, I think they were like, I forget the percentage of hemp, but they do have hemp in them, but I don't even think it was 55%, but anyway. And then, of course, on the feet there, a good old pair of hemp Sambas by Adidas. Have quite a bit of, I didn't do my hemp lip exercises today. But again, I have quite a lot of pairs of hemp Adidas. And I want to say I think I wore a maroon outfit recently. So I'm and I don't wear red a whole lot or maroon a whole lot. So you guys are special to me. That's how special the hemp
right.
High Noon Hemp audience is to me. I make exceptions for you guys. So there you have it, folks. If you're wondering, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you know here on the High Noon Hemp Show. All right. Well, we'll be right back with the news after this hemp trailer for the new Hemptation CBD, the movie, which is actually really old.
That's powerful stuff.
Into the CBD is the name of that movie,
There you go.
actually. And you notice there was a little commercial for the High Noon Hemp Show.
That's right.
Uh,
Made it.
so
Made it in.
that trailer is decently new then within the last 3 years or so, obviously. And we actually still carry, I don't know, probably about 70% of the commercial or the products that I showed in that one. We still have on the shelves here at Hemptation. So into the CBD. I have to make sure I change that on my official sheet here. I didn't realize I was, and I keep forgetting to look because all of these trailers do in fact have a movie name, whatever it may be. So I'll have to go back and check that a little better in the future. All right, well, let's get on with the news. Get everybody on with their day and their hemp knowledge. We all know, well, we don't all know. If you watched the show in the past, you may have seen that Levi's is releasing a line or has released a line. And originally, I think this was, I don't know if it was a red label or not, but they were what they were calling cottonized hemp jeans, which just means they softened them up so it felt like cotton jeans instead of hemp, which is a little stiff at first. Again, hemp wears in, it doesn't wear out. Philosophy. But it's kind of funny because I saw Levi's they're releasing a plant-based line, and the first thing that caught my eye here is, aren't all their jeans plant-based? I mean, do they make synthetic jeans? No, they make them out of cotton. Cotton is a plant. I don't. It's like, and that's exactly what they're now. It's like they're trying to capitalize on something that they've always done. Their jeans have always been lined. Now, supposedly there will be in this 501 plant-based line. Again, cotton is a plant. Don't know. All their jeans are plant-based, in my opinion. They are going to include a line of hemp jeans, and so it's just kind of interesting how it's like they're going to tell us something that's already true, and then they're doing it in a way to make themselves seem like they're eco-friendly. When again, if they're making their jeans out of cotton, unless it's organic cotton, the chemicals, it is not earth-friendly. Not earth-friendly at all. It may be a plant. It's still a plant. And yes, their genes are plant-based. But the fact of the matter is, cotton is not earth friendly unless it's organic cotton, period. The amount of water used is incredible. The amount of chemicals to grow is incredible. So um, be careful looking at the plant based line of Levi's. I don't think they're all going to be made out of hemp. And so I don't know really what they're doing, but but they are going to use hemp, and they are using hemp, and hopefully they're going to be incorporating more hemp into their jeans as opposed to just calling them something that they already are, but still using cotton. Anyway, it's weird. It's really weird. Um, Here's a little picture of some hemp hulled seed. Now this is came from an article called "The Ultimate Guide to Nut Butters." Um, and again, check out hemp seed butter. What was really interesting is there was only 5, but the third one was nuts and seeds, but hemp seeds was the 5th one getting its own category. So they didn't include hemp under the nuts and seeds category. They gave hemp its own seed category for the most part. Um, and and I quote the article: hemp seeds do not have any psychotropic properties, but they are out of this world in terms of health benefits. As you know, high in protein, omega-6, omega-3, vitamins, minerals. They are heart healthy, and so there is zero wrong with eating health or hemp seeds. That's true. And again, that's the hulled seed. So that's that soft part which holds most of the nutrients. And if you eat the whole seed, then you're adding high fiber. You're getting fiber if you need that. And so um, basically, the butter takes about, once again, 5 minutes in a blender, and you can do sweet or savory with the butter. So if you want it to be, kind of sweet or something, you could add some sugar, cinnamon, whatever. If you want it to be savory, garlic, oregano, whatever you may want it to taste like. And again, I think here, for the most part, this is once, check out some recipes online. But basically, this is just a ratio thing. Once again, we're adding a lot less water. So now, if you add probably very little water and mix it up, you end up with butter. So, pretty simple. All you need basically in your refrigerator is milk. You don't have to keep your hemp seeds in your refrigerator, or water, I should say. You don't have to keep either one in your refrigerator. You just need water and hulled hemp seed, and you can make your own in a blender. Gotta have a blender is kind of important, I suppose, unless you want to hand blend, but I don't think you do. You can make everything from milk to creamer to butter. So all those dairy products that a lot of us use in this world can easily be substituted, and you can make it yourself. So you can make it your own consistency. Thickness and thinness and sweetness or saltiness, or however you want to do that, by just having these 2 ingredients in a blender in your house: water and hemp seed, hulled hemp seed. Um, Unless you want it to be a little crunchy, and then you could use the whole seed and you could have fiber in there. But I don't think most people want their milk or creamer to be crunchy. Maybe the butter. And again, the seeds blend up pretty well. When you see the hemp seed protein powder, and especially the one that they say high in fiber, there is a graininess to that never goes away. You cannot make it as soft as you truly want to make it. And again, that's just accepting and getting used to that a little bit. But that's all that it really is when you use the whole seed. It's very difficult to get it to a soft powder because you really don't want to. You break something down too much, and you lose nutritional value. There's a fine line there between all the foods. You cook something too much, you lose nutritional value, or if you don't cook it enough. That's the most interesting thing about meat is by cooking it, we actually get more nutritional value out of it as far as human. And I'm not advocating eating meat. I'm just saying that's the science of the medical science of meat and cooking. A lot of foods are that way. You cook them too much, and you end up losing the nutritional value, or you don't cook them enough, or whatever. Um, and so those are good things to know. But there you have it: hemp butter, hemp cream, hemp milk, 2 ingredients, more or less. And I have to go check out the butter recipe, but I'm just guessing that honestly, all you would need would be the water and the hulled seed to make yourself the butter. And again, a lot less water and a lot more seed, no doubt. Uh, Shavan Vrat. I hope I don't offend any Hindus. I believe this is a Hindu. I hope I don't offend a religion by thinking that. Um, but I guess they fast for this particular holiday. And this article was 5 high protein foods you can try on fast day. So I guess this is a fast day. And I don't know if you can fast and still eat. That doesn't, usually you can eat soup when you're fasting, maybe. But anyway, um, but again, to quote the article, it says, despite their small size, hemp seeds are packed with nutrients. And so I'm not sure what the rules are for Shavan Vrat. But I would guess if you were going into a fast, if you were going to fast for any reason, eating hemp seed before you started, or just including a little bit to get you through, would be the best way, or one of the best ways to do it. You get a lot of nutritional value for very little amount, and it's said that it satiates the hunger, and that's why like even a couple spoonfuls in the morning can help you get through the day, helps you feel more full for longer. That's one of the benefits they say of a hemp seed diet. Don't recommend a diet. I just recommend having a good diet. But I do remember seeing a hemp seed diet, and it wasn't very much, but it was a certain amount in the morning, which was supposed to get you through the day, and then a certain amount in the evening, again, to make you feel more full and eat less, which should be the objective of any diet, I suppose, if you're going to be on a diet. A lot of them are health based for this reason or another. Heart healthy diet um, or whatever it might be. But again, I don't recommend having a diet or being on a diet. I'd recommend having a good diet. And hemp seed is, almost it is a no-brainer without a doubt. So do that. If you're trying to chat with me on YouTube, I just now logged into the live feed. But I am there. So there was a fetal CBD study in mice. This is important stuff. And it was kind of interesting how what they found. Now, CBD exposure, it did not alter pregnancy length, gestational weight gain, litter size, or sex of the offspring. But it did, I'm not positive as to what this really means. It did alter the thermal pain sensitivity in the males. I guess they did, they fed the CBD to males and females, even though they were really studying the females in the fetal. But it didn't alter the thermal pain sensitivity in the females. Now it did alter, they say, the problem solving in the females. And so, giving it a typical, probably, mouse in the maze kind of test or whatnot. Somehow they think that the CBD, not the males, once again, didn't affect the males because they did test both, didn't affect their problem solving abilities, but it did affect the females' problem solving abilities. So we'll see more on that. Um, Again, it did see that they were doing the mazes less or slower and whatnot. Which also brings me to the CBD maybe calmed the moms down, and they didn't care about getting to the end of the goal as quickly. I don't, I mean, the men may have still been driven by their desire to get the treat or whatever the reward was at the end of the maze or whatnot. But maybe the CBD and the females just made them more relaxed and less caring about that reward. Who knows? I don't know. Um, does do we know if being pregnant causes females mice to have problem solving? I guess they would have already known that, and would have taken that into effect. But good to know. And it did affect the prefrontal cortex excitability, which I don't understand any of that and would have to look into a little bit. And so there was some, I believe, physical, mental maybe effects that the CBD did have on the mothers. But once again, you look at the tests that show that it didn't change pregnancy length, didn't affect that. Everything with the babies seemed to be normal. Now I don't know if they have to still test those babies to see if that CBD caused them to have any effects and how they do that or not. But I would guess that should be part of the study, in my opinion, as well, to see if it actually had any long-term effects on the babies. It didn't have any short-term effect on the pregnancy or the babies, just the mothers. And so, and again, I will have to say that because it didn't affect the males like it did the females, there's got to be something there. So, but that's what that's where we need to be in the world, is more tests. And again, I do see a lot more mice tests and CBD and whatnot, and so it's good. It's good. I mean, I don't know if it's good that the effects are good, but it's good that we're doing these studies and these tests on things. So. Here's the state, Indiana. Now, the Du Bois County prosecutor. This is a county prosecutor. Okay, is sending out letters and telling everyone that Delta 8, Delta 10, and smokable hemp products are illegal in the state of Indiana. Okay. I do not believe that that's true, because I don't know of the state writing any laws saying that Delta 8 was illegal, Delta 10 is illegal, or smokable hemp is illegal. Now, I do believe that when, years ago, when CBD was, they started growing in Indiana, and you were seeing CBD products on the shelves in Indiana, that there was a stink about smokable hemp, but I think that it was resolved pretty quickly in a sense that, once again, the state has to change the laws to make any byproduct of industrial hemp illegal. Okay, because federally they're legal, and unless the state has laws against them, they're legal. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out in the state, and this may be like another DEA gut check to this particular prosecutor who thinks they know the laws, but they don't know the laws. And again, this is a county prosecutor. This isn't the state prosecutor. This isn't the state attorney general that's saying these things. And so just because this prosecutor thinks that and says that, doesn't mean that it's true. in any way, which is where we find a lot of things, a lot of these supposed illegal laws. It's kind of how it happened in Kentucky. The police were coming out and saying that Delta 8 was illegal when that was 100% not true. And they didn't know. They didn't know. And they may have been going on the misleadings of the DEA, which comes out and say those things. And they say them because they can say, well, Delta 8 is illegal. Okay? Because if Delta 8 is extracted from what they call marijuana, that is illegal in the eyes of the DEA. So it's not a lie for the DEA to say any of these things. I mean, the DEA can still say CBD is illegal. Because if you take that CBD from marijuana, that would technically be federally illegal. All of the products have to be extracted, manufactured, processed from industrial hemp. And when they are, no matter what they end up being or what they end up being in, it's 100% legal. It's 100% federally legal. And again, more states are changing the laws and adding age restrictions to these things and whatnot. But for all intent and purposes, again, it's legal unless the state has physically written a law saying that it's illegal. And I don't believe that I know of Indiana making Delta 8 or Delta 10 or smokable hemp flower illegal. So this guy's going to get checked. I'll follow this one because I can't wait till he gets corrected. Or the police in this county go and they start arresting people, shop owners, for selling 100% legal products. It's probably going to have to go to court. If the prosecutor of a county is acting this way, in my opinion, it's going to go to court, or at least take some arrests before the truth really comes out. So we'll see, unless he gets checked really quickly, which he might. He might get corrected really fast. So there's a IKEA hack that transforms a bed into a swinging chair. I believe we have a picture of this here somewhere, which is kind of cool. Again, this is an IKEA bed frame in some way or another, and then you manipulate it a little bit and you make this. But what I think is very interesting is you'll notice that it's hanging. You got it from hemp rope, and that's part of the hack. So if you're gonna do this IKEA swinging chair hack, you have to find yourself some hemp rope. I recommend looking at Hemp Traders first. They were the largest supplier of hemp rope in the country, and I assume that they are still that. I haven't looked at hemp rope online just to see what's out there for sale. I'll do that maybe for next week's show and add a little more, see what's out there because a lot of times for the product spotlight, it's 4 from the store, 1 from my door, and more if I can find a bunch of stuff online for sale. But this is an IKEA hack using hemp rope. Obviously, once again, strongest natural fiber on the planet. So you got to buy a bigger rope, but should keep you from hitting the floor, at least for a while. And I would recommend wetting it down every once in a while, because I think the worst thing you could do for hemp rope is let it dry out. It actually retains its strength under moisture, which is why it made great sailing cloth and hemp rigging or ship rigging. When ships were a major form of transportation in the world. That's a fact, folks, about hemp. Let's see. How about now this is an article on the best buckwheat filled pillows. Okay. But in the article, the best buckwheat alternative. So if you don't want buckwheat in your buckwheat pillow, they recommend getting the Solera weighted organic hull pillow. Now this, again, you can see it's really expensive because if you were to go out and buy 10 pounds, because that's what they put, 10 pounds, I think I read, um, of hulled seed, which I think is interesting because I really think that in the long run, the hulled seed would kind of, once again, smash together. You're gonna make butter. You're gonna make butter inside your pillowcase, and of course, ironically, it's cotton material, not hemp material. Uh, but and again, they've gone so expensive anyway that I'm almost surprised that it's not hulled. But you can, I believe, you can thin or add either way. It comes with an extra pound of hulled seed. If that's edible, then you could make your milk or your butter or your cream with it. So you get a pillow and creamer. But again, what I really thought was most interesting is the fact that in an article about buckwheat pillows, the buckwheat alternative is hemp hulled seed. And we were doing kind of pillows and whatnot. I have to find my, I don't, where is that? I have to find my hemp pillow, and we were actually using whole seed inside. And I also think with the whole seed, you could microwave that and heat it up, and that was a big thing for a while. Was pads you put in the microwave just for a minute or two, and then it heats that seed, and then you lay it on a sore spot just like you would a heating pad with hot water back in the day. And the whole seed, all of the seed, worked really well for that. I'm not real sure about heating up the hulled seed. Um, and this is more of a sleeping pillow, not a calming or pain relief type idea. So, but there you got it. Hemp hull. Hemp hull is the best alternative for buckwheat in a pillow. There's some trivia for your friends.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're about here too. Let's see. Oh man, this is cool. Article in the Lexington Herald Leader gives a really good history of hemp in the state. Here is a picture of a gentleman who was measuring. This is 1905, I think, if I remember correctly. Measuring his hemp, showing how tall it's 10 feet tall. What I kind of find interesting is how far apart these plants were planted. And again, they're growing for the fiber. They're growing for the material that's going to be made from the fiber of the plant here. Now, when we grow for the fiber, if it's grown. The plants are pretty close together. Now, I guess in the row they're decently close, but kind of further apart in between the rows. And so once again, you're going for up. Uh, you want that plant to be as tall as it can be, so that fiber, which grows from the root to the top of the plant, is as long as it can be, making it as strong as it can be. I've talked often about how difficult it was to break open and get to that fiber. And so they would leave the hemp in the fields, and they would come in the spring, and they would come with this hemp break. And I've described it. And here's a picture of it. And so, what you do is you take that hemp and you lay it long ways, as you can see through there, and then you just pick up that big, and it's just alternate pieces of wood, so that when it falls down, it breaks the outside, that what we call bast or shiv, the stalk, basically breaks that up and then leaves you with the fiber. This was once again very labor intensive. This is one of the reasons why cotton kind of started to win out in the late 1800s, early 1900s, is because the cotton gin made it very easy to process the cotton. And hemp, the hemp decortator, which was a big machine that eventually came along that zigzagged the hemp down a conveyor belt, basically breaking it as it went down, was kind of late uh, and kind of, you know, the reason why we went to cotton is because it was a lot less labor intensive. Um, you know, now we have all the machinery in the world to compensate for that, and so it's not an issue anymore. But again, the plant itself would stay in the field over the winter, snow or cold and rain and whatnot to break down, and then they still had to come along in the spring and break it with this. That's how tough that is. That's why that material that comes off, that bast or that shiv that comes off the outside, seems so logical to use in hempcrete material, you know, or to use in animal bedding. It's not going to break down, and it will absorb some stuff. But anyway, there it is, the labor intensive hemp break. Um, and again, this mentions Henry Clay, who was who had enslaved people, and used enslaved people on his hemp farm. But he had 600 acres or so in Lexington. My son, ironically, my youngest son, who lives in Lexington, um, their house is literally where the hemp fields used to grow. He's within walking distance of the Henry Clay Estates, and there's no doubt in my mind that where their house is was in fact hemp fields. 150, probably even longer than that. Could have been 200 years ago. Um, and so, there is long history. It was being grown. Late 1700s was the first. I believe, if I read correctly, 1775 was the first, I guess, documented hemp fields in Kentucky. It was growing there before it was actually a commonwealth or a state, as we say. Um, and yeah, and when it was made illegal in 1937 with the Marijuana Tax Act, Kentucky was the largest producer of hemp farming. And so there it is. And the reason why, Kentucky played a huge part in the federal re-legalization of industrial hemp. Dun dun dun. And it's a good article because there is a lot of history there. So good for them. Good for them. Okay, so I tell you, mycelium is really getting a play with hemp these days. So the Magical Mushroom Company, they are now making boogie boards, is what I call them. I'm not sure what the technical term is for this, but these are boogie boards made from mycelium, which is mushroom, part of mushrooms, and hemp. We've seen the water buoys and buoys come out recently using this kind of composite. Um, their goal is to get rid of all those disposable boogie boards that you buy when you're on vacation and then throw in the trash, or break and throw in the trash almost immediately. Um, but apparently, this company, and again, I do believe I should have looked a little closer. It's either New Zealand or Australia where these are being made. Check out the Magical Mushroom um, Company, I believe they are called. Yeah, and so they might be called MMC because, again, that's a little, I mean, I get it. It's kind of magic that they're using mushrooms and hemp to make a boogie board, but people are going to buy this and then, start chopping it up and going out to concerts on it. So, little misleading when it comes to the name, I suppose. But apparently, 90% of their products that they are making or focusing on are made from this mycelium and hemp mixture. So we're seeing a lot more mycelium show up, and and products. And again, I think that for the most part, this helps us replace plastic, maybe even styrofoam, because I do feel like those boogie boards that you buy, again, cheap. I think it's just like a really thick, more or less styrofoam covered with some synthetic fiber. And so, we could definitely do with less styrofoam or no styrofoam in the world if we could. That's for sure. And so it's pretty neat what's going on with mycelium and hemp these days. I think we're going to start seeing more building materials. Structurally, we'll have to see how strong it is, but I think, again, for wall material, if it doesn't expand or decrease with cold and heat, I think it would be even lighter than making your walls, or especially your interior walls, out of hempcrete, maybe. And so, because I feel like, the mixture that they're going for here is definitely, I think the mycelium helps, make it floatable for the most part, just like the buoys that I've seen made out of mycelium and hemp, but also lighter. And then again, the hemp, I think, helps with the strength. So, all right, there's all the good old hemp news for this week. Not a whole lot of events going on, but I will have to say, if you are in the Toledo, Ohio area next Monday, I highly, highly recommend going to Wheelin' on the Rocks. I don't know what that really is. Wheelin' on the Rocks is the name of the place, because they're going to do, the Toledo Hemp Center is giving away 200 pieces of hemp pizza. And I know they've been doing this for a while. I've seen other hemp pizza events that the Toledo Hemp Center has. I have been up to a Toledo Hemp Center event, a long time ago when they first opened, and we went and set up all our hemp stuff at an event up there, and it was at a bar somewhere pretty close to, I think, where their location is. They like to co-sponsor events at places, which is pretty cool. But free pizza? Come on. Free hemp pizza? Come on. I mean, I'm almost tempted to make the drive to Toledo because it's hard for me to resist hemp and pizza. And you put the two together, and it's like, geez, oh, Pete. Like, I feel like next Monday, and this is going on from 7 to 10. So I feel like, next Monday around 5 o'clock, I'm going to get this pull. It's like this thing telling me, drive to Toledo. Go to the Toledo Hemp Center's free hemp pizza party at Wheelin' on the Rocks. Wheelin' on the Rocks. So, again, if you're up in the Toledo area, anywhere in the Toledo area, I definitely would recommend it. July 30th, you have the Pennsylvania Hemp Agriculture Festival going on. It's a one-day event from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at the Elk County Fairgrounds. That's in Kersey, not Hershey, Kersey, Kersey, Pennsylvania. And again, Pennsylvania is doing everything in its power to make hemp successful as a farming industry in the state, or a industry period. And I believe I reported on this, but I just saw again, and it may be a different grant, but or it may be a total, but they're $1 million in grants that they're giving out in the state, for different hemp ventures, not just farming, but I think product wise and all kinds of things. And so, Pennsylvania probably would have been one of the first inland states, not one of the first colonies, but to grow hemp, and it would have come that way, when probably, when it came across and made its way to Ohio, it was only in the lower part of the state. In Ohio, when hemp got here, we were still traditionally growing what the Native Americans were growing and showed us to grow. Again, hemp was imported. There was no hemp being grown. It is not indigenous to the United States. And so, again, I believe it would have been Virginia, kind of come over Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and the lower parts, obviously. Because again, I think it obviously hit Kentucky, and I think it did well in Kentucky because there were Native Americans didn't really live in Kentucky; they more hunted in the state because it is hilly and rolly and foresty. It is not flat like Ohio, so I think that's why Native Americans as they were being pushed across the country, or the ones that might have been here. Um, in northern Ohio is perfect. It's flat as flat can be, and perfect for any agricultural crop, honestly, to grow. It took in Kentucky because it would grow on the rolling hills. It didn't have a problem growing anywhere that they planted it. And so all of a sudden, this was something that wasn't there, they could bring in and utilize as a farming crop. And so I think that's why it ended up being more prevalently grown in Kentucky, because once again, there weren't natives growing corn or any of the other products, squash and those things that Native Americans were growing for food product, because it just wasn't a Native American. It wasn't populated with Native Americans to begin with. My understanding is they would come, north from Tennessee and go into Kentucky, where technically Kentucky is the line, to hunt in the woods. And the same from Ohio. They would cross the Ohio River and then go into Kentucky to hunt more than they lived. It's kind of interesting because, again, even the Ohio River, it's much flatter on the Ohio side, where we are anyway, and I haven't done the whole river, obviously, but on the Kentucky side, it does seem to be more hilly. It's almost like all of a sudden, the Ohio River divides the kind of the flatness with the hill, which was all caused by the glacier that dug out Cincinnati back in the day. I remember that from the museum. And so, again, and hemp was not indigenous to the United States. The Europeans, the colonies, brought hemp with them. And again, that's why I think you don't see a whole lot of hemp that was grown out west ever. It was more the northern states, if anything, because it came over, again, and came off the boats in Virginia, most more than likely. There was a time when it was, if you had a certain amount of property in Virginia, you had to grow a certain amount of hemp for the government. And so basically made it legal tender as well. So check out the Pennsylvania if you're anywhere near Kersey, Pennsylvania. July 30th is that event. Boy, that really sent me on a rant. Just an event like that. August 1st, we got the medical marijuana meetup at Mad Tree from 8 to 10. Again, I go to those and represent the hemp world, so to speak, and that's why I attend the medical marijuana meetups. Great events, great events. They're now doing them in Columbus and Cleveland. And it all started, the medical marijuana meetup all started here in Cincinnati years and years ago. I believe, I'm going to guess probably about the same time we started the store or the show almost. I feel it was about the same time Bonnie and Steve started the medical marijuana meetup. So there you have it. That's August 1st. Should be the first Tuesday of the month if it's on track with all the other. Usually the medical marijuana meetup is the first Tuesday of the month. They didn't do one in July because that was Independence Day. So, and then August 16th And the 18th, going to be here in a month or so, I should say in Nashville anyway, the Southern Hemp Expo. Probably this part of the country's largest hemp event every year. And again, I feel like this might be the year. This might be the year that I go down to Nashville and check it out. We'll see. I have about a month to decide. Nashville's so close; it's only 4 hours away. It's just, I kind of kick myself for not going in the past, honestly. And so maybe I'll make it down to the Southern Hemp Expo this year. That'd be nice. All right, there you have it. No questions to answer. My thoughts have been clearly explained in the show, as they usually are, with my hemp tangents in the news. So thanks everybody for watching. Remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having temptation.
See you all next week.